All right, welcome back. We got this small block out of the K10. We're going to check it out, see if it is hopefully not a hole in the piston. Hopefully it's just a head gasket. If it is, we're probably just going to try and fix it, not go crazy deep, because she's wanting to LS swap this later, and that's fine with me. I mean, I have one ready to go now, but we're trying to see if we can get this done on her budget and get everything ready to go. So we're going to tear this down. We're going to start taking off all the stuff, because either way we got to put freeze plugs in. 2 in the back are pretty bad. We already had one that was leaking when we tried to get it running before. So we're going to go ahead and tear this down, see what we can find. If we find anything major, we might go all the way down, or we might just stop and then just switch to the LS, because I don't want her to put $1,000 into this when I have one that I have less money in. So in the long run, it's better. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the small block, but might as well go LS if you can, you know. We got her truck all tore down. The only thing we got left is the bottom of the shocks. We got the exhaust off and the brake line's loose. We just have to get them all the way out of there because we're getting all new stuff. The previous owner had hammered the rear shut. We could just replace that, but I'm like, we're already here and I want it safe is my main concern, to make sure she's got a good safe truck to last her quite a while. So it's raining outside. It's not too loud in here, so hopefully it's not crazy for you guys. I had to go to work, so this is a couple days later after we tore it all down. Seems like work just gets in the way of having fun. But I guess it keeps the lights on, so I guess you got to do it. I have a tool for this somewhere. I may have to find it. I can't get my hands in there. Where you at? Oh, but it's over here. Aha! Crisis averted. It's weird, every time I think I have a tool, I'm not sure if I still have it or not, because my shop burned down in 2019, so I keep thinking of things I had, but I don't know if I still have. So I have to go look around, and then sure enough I buy it, and then I realize I did have it in a box or something. Nobody was hurt, just a couple cars and my toolbox, my 2-post lift, which, you know, I would like to have that. Okay. See if I can get you guys over here. So when I'm tearing one down, I lay all this stuff out. I just throw the bolts in there, and then when I can go back, I can put them in the ultrasonic cleaner. Then I can throw them in bags. That way when we go back together, we're ready to go. It's easier than trying to put them all in a bin. I mean, if you've done it 100 times, I'm sure it's no big deal. I've mostly been spending last couple years on LS stuff, so we you know, try to use my wrench, even though I like the little ratchet, but it's louder, so we'll just do it the old school way. Got tons of leaves and mud dauber nest. Like I said, this is sat for 20, I think it was 1990, so 24 years, 22 years, somewhere in there. So hopefully we'll get her back on the road and it'll be a good truck for her. I think she calls it Old Nessie. No clue. I think that's the wrong size. So she's got some sweat equity in this one, so she'll definitely take care of it, which is good. My first truck was a 78 square body. I bought it off my dad. It was rusted about as bad as this one. The body was actually good, but the bed was toast. So we did a motor swap out at our farmhouse. Had the transmission rebuilt. I remember opening up the transmission and looking at all the stuff, and we decided we didn't want any part of that. Well, what size is this one weird one? Sounds like it's starting to rain harder out. Well, come on. Why are they all different sizes? Tell you what, for being a Mac pair of pliers, these are about the worst ones I've ever had. My cheap ones, at least they hold together. There they are. I think these other ones are Ace Hardware, and good, thunder. That's what you want when you're recording a video. Let's get the oil draining out of this thing, so when we flip it over we don't have a mess everywhere. Got a little water in it, looks like. Okay. Oh, come on, rain. Well, let's see how we're going to get that off of there. The belt's already off. I might put the belt back on, but I think the bolt broke off in the tensioner, so, or the alternator. Hopefully. Let's see if I can find my strap wrench. We'll use that. Come on. Raining harder now. Let's see how this thing does. Put a vice grip on the pulley, but my half inches right here. Like a glove. Okay. There's 2 out of 3. 3 out of 4. That one's snug. Okay, let's see if they come out. Looks like the studs are coming with that one. That's okay. Just a nut with that one. Well, they make lots of fancy tools now, but I think the gear wrench is definitely, I think I was a second-year apprentice, and they come in and they gave me a big old set of gear wrenches. All the machines I worked on were metric, so I had a giant metric set. Man, I tell you what, I don't know if I ever used a regular wrench after that, unless I was going to heat it up and bend it and make something work, or someplace you got to get into. But even in my toolbox, I keep the gear wrenches out to use, and the metrics I got to go in the drawer and find, because it's just, it's so handy. Sometimes the head's too big, so you can't get it in there. You have to use a regular one, but that's why I have a drawer full of those. That was okay. like you've been on there 20 years or something. Sheesh. Gotcha. The oil keep draining out. Okay, let's get this out. Bought a new water pump for this. Wasn't leaking or anything, but I figure, you know, it needs it. Okay, let's get this AC off of here. Okay. I sprayed all these bolts the day we took it out, and then I sprayed it again last night, and then this morning when I come out here while I was cleaning up trying to get tools and things set back up. Notice there's a exhaust bolt on that side that's Bluetooth, so I have to see if it's broken or it came out or what actually happened to it. Let's get a socket on that one, it's a little snug. Oh, moly. Somebody yelling, "You don't have to take that off." That's all right. We're going to separate everything, get her a new compressor. There wasn't any Freon in it. And then we found the lines hooked to the actual box were loose, so I don't know if it's been taken apart or it started selling on something that's this old. You just have to, you know. Okay. Come off the stud now. This one here. Ooh, there we go. Alright, AC compressor's off. Let's try and get this power steering pump off without making a mess everywhere. Which is possible. Let's get This has got a bolt with a nut on it. Guessing. Stay. I'm guessing the wrong one. If you're like me and very tall and a bad back, you should definitely get a magnet or 2 or 10, because they're pretty nice. So I broke the bolt off in the alternator just trying to release the belt. It's one of them deals where we'll try it. It's right on top. It's easy to change. I'll probably get that bolt out. If it works, we'll use it for a while. That'll save her, you know, 150 bucks or whatever. She's got I think a 20-minute drive to school. And we'll have this done before she turns 16, so that way we can get a license, drive it around for a while, make sure, you know, all the bugs and shh, quiet. Close to lunchtime. Okay, take off this bracket. As you can see, another mud dauber nest. We've got a block off plate for the fuel pump, so we're gonna go to the sniper. I was a little worried about the ones going to the water pump, but that came right out. I'm gonna have to get a smaller. I was using 1/2-inch drive stuff. Yeah, these little ratchets are pretty handy too. I don't know who come out with them first. My gear wrench set had one. It's pretty handy. Of course, anytime I can, I use the electric ratchet now. Just a little faster and a little easier. But sure enough, you get it in one spot and you end up getting stuck where you can't get it out. Asked my son about that. We were working on his truck and he got something in there loosened up, and then he couldn't switch it because it's right on the back of the handle. I'm going to mess with that for a while. Get creative. The rear one's out. And the one over here. The bottom one's out on the driver's side. I'm gonna make a run out to LMC tomorrow or Friday to pick up some more sheet metal for that truck so we can start on the welding process. Once I get this engine tore down, we're gonna order parts for it or see if we're gonna switch to the LS. We're gonna move that frame over here so she can wire wheel it all, and we're gonna paint it all, and then it can be on the ground easier for her and I can still have the lift. I'm gonna put the cab on the lift to raise it up and down, which makes it easier for me, which is super important. missed the bolt. Too much crud on it. Take all the bolts out, it'll come out way easier. This engine wasn't leaking anything except for water. The driver's side, we noticed that we put water in to get it running that time, and it was pouring out there. And I said, well, that's not that big of a deal. And I said, we may be able to fix that in the truck. But the more I started looking at them, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to fix one, and then if it's bad, the other ones are not far behind. So we decided to tear her down. Be gone. That's not the right size. I couldn't find the block off plate in anything but chrome, although it could be one out there. I went to O'Reilly's and got all my stuff. Not sponsored, but I could be. I'm for sale for the right price. My fuel pump wasn't working when we tried to get this going. That's one of the things I knew for sure it needed. I think we bought one. Now we'll just put it on the shelf for the next thing that comes in. Other than my Chevelle, I don't have any non-fuel injected things. I mean, we have the Pontiac and stuff like that, but let's get a ratchet. We got another square body going to come in before too long. It's an 84, 1 year newer than this one. It's just a two-wheel. We actually bought it for parts for this truck. We were going to use a lot of it because we knew this one was pretty bad. And when we got it here, the guy said he couldn't get it running, so I rebuilt the Edelbrock that was on it, got it running, and then actually turned out to be a pretty nice truck, and it's too good a shape to just tear apart to put in for this one. So we'll do a revival on it one day and do some brake work and probably send it down the road because I'm working on my F100 over there. It's going to be my daily. Okay. Spring. Can't remember where I just threw them bolts. In the wrong pan, I think. Yep, sure did. That's why you write it down and check. Oh, it used to be blue at one point. All right, let's get a 9/16 back. We went to a couple car shows this summer with Caitlin, and because I'm off during the week, so I can make a few things while her mom has to work. And she's seen this square body jacked up on 35s, and which is what this one used to be, but I thought that was a little tall and had a body lift on it I wanted to get rid of, so we went back down to 33s, which is still tall for someone that's 5'2", 3 or 4, whatever she is. I'm sure she'll correct me. But definitely got the good look to it. She wants to kind of make a show driver truck, but she's got to just get a running driver for now so she can drive to school. And if anybody's ever put a backup camera on one of these, I've done a few, but not with the single DIN radio. I know they make a one with a standalone screen. We're going to try and get her something for that. I kind of like that idea, and not needed, of course. She's got good mirrors on here, but every little bit helps when you're coming out of the schoolyard and you got, you know, if you got a truck this big and you've got little kids running around, it'd be nice to, you know, make sure you can see everybody. I don't know what this nut goes to. We'll put it in there and then wonder later where it goes. Cast intake. If we go back to this motor, we might try and find her Edelbrock or something along those lines. She told me the other day, don't be spending her money. I said, yeah, but Square Body was my first truck. There, you know, when you're in high school, you don't have a lot of money, so you make do. And now that I'm older and have money, I want to do cool stuff, but she doesn't want me to use her money to do it. I'm like, well, fine. I'll build my own. On top of the 10 other things I'm building. Covered up my sign. That's the wrong flavor. That's the one. And we got all the stuff off. We might spray these exhaust bolts one more time and go grab some lunch. See if I take my wife out to lunch. She doesn't work too far away. Hey. Respond to my wife real quick. I was correct. She wants to do lunch. She must like me. Well, she tolerates me anyway, so. I bought this new motor stand. I have 3 other ones, which, you know, doesn't make sense, but this one's got the crank on it so you can turn everything over, because I've got a 6.0 LS coming up. It's fully dressed, so it's pretty heavy and it's easy to move around with this thing. So I gave one away to a guy at O'Reilly's. Was an old, you know, the straight one, and I've got one of those left. I'm gonna see if anybody needs, and then I've got my 2-ton I can build engines on, but like I said, I'll probably use this one, but that 2-ton's not very old. So we might just keep it around. It's nice to have. I bought some stands last year to put my LS's on, to put them on the ground. I can roll them under my shelf, which gives me tons more room, and then I put all my transmissions up on the second shelf, so that way it doesn't take up all the room. Because when I moved here, I'd plan on building a new shop, but then we found out later that this is as big as we could go with what we have. So we're making do. I'm not sore about it at all. That one looks fun. Well, I have to use a socket. I don't think I have a. I have to get a short 1/2 inch. See if we can get it on there. Which I know is not 1/2 inch. I don't know why I checked that. Okay, looks like a long extension. Check. Throw this nice 16th back on the table. Just enough room. Come on. Okay. Got all the intake bolts out. I haven't taken this side off yet. That's the side that I said number 2 didn't have any compression, so we're thinking hole in the piston, head gasket. The valves and everything were moving up and down. I don't know if they were sealing, but they were moving at least, so we know we didn't have a bent push rod or collapsed lifter or something. You know, I may end up blowing this off even though we're going to tear it all down. Try and keep the mess in it to a minimum in case we decide to go back together. Get my eye protection. It just takes one little thing of dirt in my eye and I'm down for a few days. That one's rotted out. That one's close. Perfect. When my old shop burned, I lost my big compressor. For the last 3 or 4 years, I've just been using a little carrier around one because I really didn't buy a lot of air tools back. I went electric with everything, so. Oh, that's nice. I went with Milwaukee. I asked around on a bunch of sites and seemed like that was the best, you know, go-to, which if you're a DeWalt guy, I don't see nothing wrong with that. That's what we have in the wood shop. So I don't think one's better than the other, but I did buy Milwaukee and I haven't had any issues. They are a little more pricey, but I've had good luck. Okay, she seems free. No mice, no mice, no mice. Oh wow, that looks good. Looks really good. Looks really heavy. Cast. I'll get you guys in here, see if you can see down in there. That looks really good. So, not too shabby at all. Let's put this plug in. Okay, let's try and break some exhaust, get some exhaust studs off. Oh. This socket's got to be round and roll off everything. Stay. This one's gone too, or maybe this is the one I was thinking of. Too shabby. There was no nut on this one, but there's no nut for the dipstick. This is very clean. We'll get the vacuum cleaner out and pull any of that stuff off that we found. She's starting to come off already. Stay. Come on. Cute little things. Put them over here. That's not too bad. That's a good sign. Was putting a motor in an 03 Escape for my son, and we got it all in, and then found out one of the studs was broke off in the exhaust, which I should have checked before, but I did not. So I tried to drill it in there, which if you've ever worked on a four-wheel drive Escape, there's no room. Oofta. Yeah, let's come back to that one. So we had to take it out, took it to a local shop. They fixed it, heli coiled it. I think they'll charge 25 bucks. It wasn't the money, it was the, I've got this thing on the lift all tore apart and I can't get it together. That one's about rounded out too. We'll get some new bolts. So it came from LKQ, which I've ordered a couple motors, transmissions from them, and they've always been pretty good. And it was broke down in there. You really couldn't tell it. There was only a couple threads. So I didn't really blame them. I mean, things happen, but it was a pain that it was all together. That one's got about 4 washers on it for some reason. Guessing it's the wrong one. Okay, now we just got the one I'm worried about. Didn't seem too eager to come out and play with his friends, so. I don't have a preference between PB Blaster or WD-40. I've got them both in the cabinet. I've used them both for years. But I will tell you, if you want something to come out that has been in there a while, Croyle's the way to go. That stuff is amazing. It's not cheap, but you get what you pay for. Look at that. Get out of there. Try and get this bolt out and put it where it goes before I forget. Looks like the rear on the driver's side has a mud dauber in it, so I'm guessing it has been gone for a long time. Is it broke off in it? Oh, good times. I love working on cars. I love working on cars. Ah. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Of course, it's flush. Oh no, it didn't break off. That was a mud dauber. Nice. That's good. Okay, well, I'm gonna go see my wife for lunch. We'll come back and keep going on the teardown of this thing, but for you it'll just be a few minutes, but for me it'll be an hour. We'll be back. All right, back from lunch. Went to High Boys, had tenderloin onion rings. It was pretty good. They closed, or they stopped serving onion rings a while back, and then they, with all the outcry, I guess they got new ones, but I tell you what, I don't think they're as good as they used to be. So it's weird. Probably the same ones. Maybe it's mental, which is possible. So crank bolt there. These are 9/16. Yep. Yeah. Stay. Looks like our rubber's coming out of the balancer, so have to get one of those anyway. Tell you what, it's looking like a LS swap might be cheaper. Not cheaper, it's because I have one. That's the only way it makes it cheaper, but gotta get this little puller to get this harmonic balancer off. This one looks like the rubber's split. And feel like these are maybe too long. We'll see. Okay, well, I bottomed them all out, I think. There's a spider crawling out of the motor, which is definitely not the first one we found in here. We were doing the interior, Caitlin was freaking out from all the spiders. I'm like, oh, that's what it is when something sits for years, it gets taken over. Alright. Always make sure you grease up your shaft before you start trying to use it, because you don't want it to get all burred up. Okay. Other than another nest, nothing else out of there. Come on. Okay, you stay there. All right, let's get all these head bolts loose. I'm going to take off this side first because I'd like to know, that's not the right size. I'd like to know if this is going to be just a head gasket, which would be really nice, or if it's going to be a total rebuild. So I think we will find out pretty soon. Oh man, it's just, I have to get a 3/8 drive because that is too long to go in there. Too big around, I mean, not too long. Well, we might switch back to the ratchet a little bit faster. Okay, I'm going to do that. Let's. I've got a light up here behind us, but we're in good lighting right here. I don't think we need it. I'm going to pull a. Get our little tray so we can keep all this stuff organized if we do decide to go back together. Or I got this on Amazon, I believe. I used to have an old comp cam one years ago. Of course, it was plastic, so it didn't like the fire. Okay. Okay, this is the wait a minute. Yes, that's right. It's backwards to where I'm standing. It's messing me up. What do we got here? look like any studs pulled out or anything. Actually look really good. I don't know how many miles are on this engine. I said it's been gone through some time. Here's a little screw. I know where that goes. It goes in the bottom. There's 2 screws like that in between the motor and transmission for the inspection cover, but there was one gone. There was one sitting up here in the head, which I don't know how that got there because I just took the valve cover off. You know, used engine, it's hard to tell what has happened in its lifetime. Had good oil up at the top when I pulled that valve cover off. One of my nuts tried to go in the wrong place. There we go. Okay. We can see through it. Doesn't look bad. Lifter doesn't look bad. Good oil. Blow through all these, but they don't look bent or anything, so that's good, because I'm definitely thinking it's the head gasket or a hole in the piston, but as much compression as everything else had, I don't see too much wrong with this. Might get an air blow or a vacuum in here and try and clean that out real quick before we get too carried away. I'll sit down and figure up what all we got left for the LS, because I have everything put it together, the wiring and all that. Have to buy motor mounts and a new flywheel to mount to the 700 R4. I have a used radiator that came out of a Silverado, so she could use that. I've got the fan, new water pump, and all that stuff on it, so might be the way to go. We'll see. Alright, let's try not to get water all over me. Well, boogers. I don't see anything definitive there like I wanted. Was hoping, got a little oil in that one. That one's not been firing for a while. Let's get you guys in here. So, that one is clean. The other ones are carboned up a little bit. That's just a RTV. Yeah, that one's not been firing for a while. So, here comes the rain back. Well, bummer. I was really hoping I was going to take it off and be like, yep, that is. Let's go look at this head, see if we see anything. Yeah, the whole inside of the combustion chamber is all clean. You can tell. Let's get this valve cover off and see. I'm trying to get it off without breaking it, so we can maybe tell if it's got a blowed out spot or. The valve on, I guess it'd be 4, doesn't look like it's seating very well. It was down to like 135 psi when we did a compression test. Still not terrible, but it was the only one that was below 150 except for 2 that had none. Okay. Well, yeah, there's a. That's what I was hoping was going to be blowed out, but it looks really good. We're going to have to dig a little deeper. Bummer. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see any hole in the piston or anything. The only other thing I can think of would be rings. Just weird that the rest of them would be all good and this one to be trashed. Well, let's get the other side off and see what we have to say about that one. I'm gonna move you guys over here so I can get to the tools and stuff easier. Try and zoom in post-production. Okay. Yeah, that's. I mean, it could be a collapsed lifter or a wiped lobe. I just didn't want to tear this all the way down. The only thing stopping me from going LS in this is her truck still has all the AC stuff, so I mean, I wish I could switch it over. It just costs more money. So we'll see. Come on, Dallas, let go. There we go. Yeah, that one looks about like the other 7. Or the other 4, I guess, 3. Front one must have the valve open. It's got a little bit of surface rust, but not terrible. But the pistons and everything all look the same, like the other side. Just carboned up, but not terrible. Yeah, I was hoping to be like, boom, that's it. We didn't get that, so let's get these lifters out. Hopefully they're good and I can just pull out my magnet. Okay, so this is first one on number 2. It's got a little bit of a spot right in the middle. Doesn't look terrible. That's the passenger side. My tray turnaround's messing me up. Yeah, circle in the middle. Come on. Come on out. You know you wanna. Looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these look. Oh yeah, that's for my glove. Yeah, that looks. They all look fine. Pad spot on them. All the push rods look good, clean. I'll check them for square. Easiest way I think is to put them in a drill or just put two together and you can look between them. Yeah, those look great. Which is good, and except for now we don't know what's wrong. A little bit of oil in this one. I don't see any chunks gone out of the piston or anything, so well, bummer. Alright, let's get these motor mounts off and then we'll get the, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Let's get the oil out of here. Try and catch all we can before we make a huge mess again. I was going to buy a kiddie pool and I never did. I should have. There we go. The best I've ever done, actually catch it when I'm trying to catch. Well, that one don't look very good either. We'd already bought these. We bought new freeze plugs because we knew for sure that one was leaking. Ooh, somebody's been in here. Double roller. Looks pretty good. RTV'd crazy, but you know, whatever works. Yeah, somebody's been in here with the double roller timing chain. It's pretty tight too. So many questions. Stay down there. Let me find my socket. That's not it. That's it right there. 3/8, I'm guessing. If it is, I would be wrong. How could I only have 5 sockets out and I keep grabbing the wrong one? Anyone? Did I not get a 1/2 inch out? Maybe in the impact stuff. Oh, nope, it's in the, never mind. I found it, it was in the drawer where I left it. Just trying to push down and pull the back up. I'm trying to get between all the bearings all the way down. Having trouble, just turn it back and forth and come right on out. I think it looks good. Man, it looks okay. It looks a little bit wiped on the inside, but looks about like the rest of them. I don't see anything that would cause it. I mean, we look like, I checked they were moving. I didn't check how high they were moving. I didn't put a dial on it or anything to see if they were as high as the other ones. This is a 851678. No clue what that means, but we'll be able to look it up and see when it was made, so kind of go from there. Yeah, nothing looks terrible. Okay. Come on, where's the, there we go. Rear seal. It's a little bit of sludge down in there, but not terrible. That's a little bit, not bad. There's no, this would be 2. No, everything's clean. I don't see any holes. And that's great, but now I don't know what the issue was. Man, I don't even know if I would dingle ball hone these or anything. They look good. I mean, we're already here now, but it's good cross hatching and everything. Let's see if I can get you guys in there. Let's try not to push the button I do to turn off the sound like I always do. Okay, that's down in 2. That's the ones I wiped out, but I mean, this motor's clean. So I don't know yet what we're going to do. That's 7, 5, and 3, 1. I mean, other than being dirty on the outside, the inside, that thing's clean. So I'm gonna run get her from school, and then we'll come back and pull that crank. I'm sure it's fine too. Everything else seems to be, and then we'll get a game plan and go from there, because like I said, I got a few days to go back to work, but it might take me a little bit to get some parts in, because things are definitely slower since COVID. But luckily, small block Chevy's almost on the shelf anywhere else. So I'll be back in a little bit. Bye. All right, we are back. Where's my gloves? Can't find my 3-jaw puller to get that crank pulley off, but we'll find it. we were talking in the car on the way home, trying to decide the best way to go. I mean, I'm sure we could rebuild this cheap, but like I said, I'd like to take her to take this off to college and have a good truck. I'll tell you one thing, I already like this thing for sure. Those mains look good. Oh man, oil pump made a mess on my table. Imagine that. This is number 2. Looks really good, which is a bummer because somebody took the time to rebuild all this, and I don't know if 2 ever was good, because it's definitely, oh, you can see on the bottom side of the head there wasn't any, looked like combustion ever went in there. Even the thrusting looks good. Remain looks good. Remember, lift with your back. Other than a couple hot spots on the rods, I don't see anything terrible in there. Let's stand this up. Stay. Get this out. Get our pump rod out of there. I know you're not supposed to look at the cam bearings, but I tell you what, they even look good. Let's get a front one has a little copper wear, copper showing anyway. The rest of them, it looks like number 1's got a weird, down in the, it's got like a hot spot on the side, which is new to me. Like I said, I'm not a professional engine builder. I just play one on TV. No, I'm nowhere near an expert. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express once. That's awesome. I do hear one side of a ring in there running around. Not a ring, but a bearing. There's not even a ring ridge. Anything. We might just send the heads out to get redone and get all new bearings and throw it back together, because yeah, I wish I had some definitive news on what was going on. 2 is looking great. So we'll have to get out and measure these, but I didn't see any markings on the piston itself to say they were oversized or anything. Yeah, I mean anything that's on here is coming right off. I mean, this is number 2. I have to get my magnifying glass out. I'm too old to see that. Some kind of a number. Might be stock. And then this is number 4. See the difference? This one's crazy, which it all cleans up pretty good. I mean, I could probably put it in maybe some gas or anything, clean it up, and it'd be ready to go. Just get some new rings and some new bearings and polish the shaft with a shoelace and some 4,000 grit or something. Well, that's all I've got for now on this engine. We're gonna talk about it, look up some parts. Like I said, I've got to go to LMC later this week to get some more rust repair parts for the cab. But we're gonna work on this one for a while until we get it at least back together into one side of the shop. That way I can bring in something else and have some fun with it. It really looks really good, other than the freeze plugs, which look like they were on the Titanic. Let's see if I can get you down here to see those. I mean, those are crazy rusty. For everything else looking great, I'm guessing those didn't get replaced. So, all right, I will decide what we're going to do, and we'll be back. All right, I want to thank you guys for hanging out if you're still here. I ended up reassembling the 350 out of the K10. We really didn't find anything definitive that we were going to rebuild or do anything. I put everything in it, but the pistons are sitting over there. There's, you know, no slugs in it, but we just tried to put everything back together so we could hold it together, because we're on short supply for room here. So keep this all together, we can decide later. She has decided to go with the 5.3. I know some of you were, oh, I would never do that, or I would have rebuilt it. That's true. It's hers, and money-wise, she decided to put her money into the 5.3 that I already had assembled, and I have all the wiring. I have a radiator. Only thing we have to do is go get the vats turned off and all that. And we were already going to Sniper, so we already had the fuel tank, the wires, the hose, all that stuff. So that's one of the reasons that we leaned this way. I told her it was up to her. Nothing wrong with either engine. It's not like we put it in a Ford. Well, that'll come later. So we were going to keep this one for later. I'm sure we've got other small blocks or projects we'll use, so we'll tear this one down, we'll rebuild it, put it back together, make it a little hotter, because now it's mine, so I can, you know, put a little bit more money in it than she could to make it a little funner project. I also like to thank you guys for all the views. I think today, it's Wednesday, the 11th. We are at 12,300 views and 246 subscribers. So I appreciate all that, for all the comments and likes. So trying to keep this thing growing. I want to thank my wife for pushing me to do this, because I was doing it anyway, but now I'm recording it, so it takes twice as long. But I still appreciate the vote of confidence. We're going to get back tomorrow on working on the K10. So next week you guys will see that, putting the frame reassembled, getting the engine in, transmission in, all that. Everything was painted up nice. I'm still working on the body work, which is slow going and work here lately, but I've got a few more days off, so I'm going to try and get as much as I can done of that, so I can get it off the lift, so we can get on to something else, because that's not enjoyable, just welding and welding all day long. I don't know how people do that, but I'm ready to tear into something else. So we'll get this going as far as we can. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment, share. I appreciate all the comments, good, bad, whatever, which I haven't had any bad ones yet, so you guys better step it up a little. I got thick skin, you can't hurt me. So we will see you next time, and thanks for watching.